definitely like playing against TSM. I feel like me and Bjergsen bounce ideas off each other a lot. We're like competitors, just like solo queue bravos in a sense.
I talked to Shiphtur on, I would say, almost even a daily basis about like mid lane champions, what we can do, like what can be the upcoming pick and things like that.
This series will show like who's the better mid laner, and I'm excited to show what I can do.
Now we're playing him for playoffs, so I might need to find another buddy to talk to.
Welcome back to the North American LCS Summer Playoffs. Now the teams are loading in for our second bout between TSM and Dignitas. But guys, Dig took series first blood in a pretty incredible first game. What are they going to be looking to repeat here in game 2?
I have no
The win,
clue.
probably.
Yeah, they're going to go for the win.
It's definitely something they're going to want to repeat.
Yeah.
But yeah, split pushing strategy does work for them, and they do have the last pick, so they can still always go with it. The thing is, I think TSM, especially looking at their camera after this game here, they did not look like they were shaken. That game was so close to going TSM's way as well, and I think that they will strike back here and not let themselves get split pushed to death by Zion Spartan once again.
Well, more specifically, let's look at Zion Spartan, who was that split-pushing monster. You know, he killed 5 of the 8 turrets in that game and repeatedly killed the same inhibitor 3 times. It's somewhat safe to say that he single-handedly won that game. As Riv mentioned, he did all the damage to the Nexus. No one else touched it. Is he going to just try and stick to that Nasus and the split-push style? Are we going to see him pull something else out and kind of throw some more curveballs?
I don't know. I think the kind of solo play split-push style really fits Zion well. And I think Dig should just kind of cater to that, because obviously it worked really well in that first game. Even when they were playing against, a 4-0 Syndra, it worked for them. So I think that's just a really good way to play against TSM.
All right, let's flip the tables now and look at TSM. TSM, like you said, Kobe, it was a close game. Gold lead was really, really narrow the entire time. So what are they looking to do as a team now to either stop the split push, whether it be in Champ Select or in-game?
So I definitely want to highlight Bjergsen, because as you said, he had a great score line, but he was playing Syndra, so he pretty much did everything he could with Syndra. He got long-range picks from Fog of War. He bursted down whoever they caught out. He can play other champions. He can play answers to split pushing. You even said yourself, when you guys scrim them, it's Bjergsen who's the one who split pushes for TSM. So if TSM come up against another split pushing strategy from Dignitas, it may even be Bjergsen that they opt to go with, a more assassin type character, someone who can answer a split push from Zion.
Yeah. That'll be really interesting to see, because also at this point, since they're blue side again, Bjergsen's going to have to blind pick that split pusher if he wants to. So it is going to be kind of risky if he wants to do that. But it's always, on the table if they don't want to go with the Nasus ban, or they're scared they have more split pushers in the top lane.
We saw that Zed ban from Dignitas in the first game, so it looks like they may have been targeting his ability to split push from the get-go. Now, real quick, one last thing I want to touch on probably. As a mid laner, we watched Bjergsen pick up those 4 early kills. However, he translated that into Alacrity enchantment on his Sork shoes, followed immediately by a Void Staff, which is generally known as the build path for someone who doesn't have a lot of gold. Why would he do that?
Yeah, that's a poor man mids build. When you can't save up the 1600 for Newsky Rod, you go Void Staff, because it's a little earlier power spike, but then you have to build it up later. I think his thought process behind that was Alacrity is going to help a lot against Ziggs in lane. Never getting poked out by Ziggs is going to give you a big upper hand, because then they can't just take free dragons because you're poked. And then on top of that, it also allows you to potentially close a small gap to get a QE on Syndra and get the stun off. So I think it's partially defensive, partially offensive. But the big thing is it just doesn't give him any damage. So earlier on, he might have been able to get that Ziggs kill if he went with the straight News Large Rod instead of going to Alacrity enchantment.
All right, we'll see if they're able to make those adjustments here in Game 2. And we're going to send it right over to Riv and Jat for the call of the game.
Thank you very much, Dash, and we are ready to get right into Champion Select. The rundowns are quite the same, as the teams have not changed. We're in the best of 5 here, and it's going to be Team Solo Mid versus Dignitas.
Now, do we see a Nasus ban, or do we see a different type of change? Because there were some strange bans in the last game. TSM banned Nidalee, Lulu, and Ryze.
Right.
They don't necessarily need to ban the Lulu this game. Nidalee is as well of a split pusher, though, so that's probably staying. And then Zed actually was banned by Dig, Nunu, and Alistair. They don't necessarily have to change, because Dignitas is the one that came out ahead in that red side.
So there's Nidalee, Zed.
Yep, those were the ones we expected to stay.
A little bit of mirror ban here. Let's see.
Ryze probably is going to stay as well, because Shiphtur,
Ryze for the Syndra,
and Zion can both play it quite well.
So that could be in either lane in the flex pick. There's a Ryze, so as we were saying, gets taken out. Lickety split.
Oh, wow.
The jungler does get focused this time. Not Nunu, however. Nunu, like you said, being picked up by Amazing could be something else, along with the Kazakhs that we saw last game from Crumbzz. And I am excited just to get into the game. Froggen said TSM, with his tweet, kind of got the picks they wanted. The game should have gone in their favor, but it wasn't a regular game that we just saw.
Yeah, it wasn't like it was completely won in the pick and ban phase.
At least they know the reason they lost. The Nexus.
Question, do they ban? No, they do not.
Oh, wow.
This means maybe either they just think they have a better answer to a split push and they're willing to pick Maokai first again, which is possible. If they had stronger initiation, not tied to their top lane pick, this is TSM, they would have been completely fine with 55 minutes of trying to win the game 4v4.
TSM usually goes towards Jarvan if they want more initiation, but that's a scary part of initiation if you want to just use that one. And it looks like the Alistar gets banned out, so Lee Sin in turn of a Nunu this time.
The only ban that is different, exactly. Yeah. Nunu is available, no longer Lee Sin. Honestly, Lee Sin was the main source of TSM's success last game.
Right, amazing.
Or the majority of the picks they were able to create. And it's not like the Maokai isn't a good pick, but they're willing to play it into Nasus again. This is just really making you think TSM has a better strategy for the next 4 picks if Dignitas still wants to go with Nasus. I don't expect too much to change here. We may still see the Kazakhs in the Thresh like we saw in Game 1 here from Dig.
And this tells us confidence as well. We heard Bjergsen talking to Dyrus saying, you're getting the first pick. That's the one you want. Don't feel pressured to have that. Dyrus does not. Feels like he can go in on that again and felt like it was comfortable play. Just kind of out of the ordinary. Whoa, a taster's choice from back in the day. We're going to have a blood-boiled Kog'Maw running around the rift.
Dig says, why not try something completely different? It's not like last game was a walk in the park. They take the Kog'Maw pick away from TSM. WildTurtle had that last game, and they get the Nunu jungle, which they themselves banned in the previous matchup. Mason gets Elise, which was his most successful champion in solo.
I can so see the Nidalee, now why the Nidalee's banned. If you remember Crumbzz and Zion Spartan running the hellacious split push they could with that attack speed and the sustain that both of those champions have. Thwarted out by good homework by Team Solo Mid with that Nidalee ban. Bjergsen picking up Lustboy's Nami once again. We saw Lustboy coming into the LCS and that was getting banned against him. It is one of his top supports, but it doesn't seem like Dig minds too much.
TSM has been in love with Nami for the most part. It has been their top support throughout the whole year. Even it was Glebe's favorite support and it has been Lustboy's most played.
That's true. So again, top 80 carry coming in here for Dignitas, leaving that last pick of middle for the last pick.
Of course they will.
Go figure.
Yeah, here they'll be doing the same order of picks. Generally speaking, I think, since they already know TSM's top laner, they will go for their own top laner pick. Yeah.
Ooh,
so this is interesting. It is not a split push strategy here. This is much more of a team fight strategy. They're just trying to match the tankiness of Maokai with the tankiness of Mundo. That is the definition of a tank lane that cannot kill each other.
If he was picking it, he'd pick it. Maybe. Maybe. But
WildTurtle likes Corki. He actually had a lot of Lucian games. It was his most played in the regular season. Remember, Tristana is a big threat as well.
That's a good amount of initiation they did not have last time, and that does not leave it up to Amazing on Jarvan in the jungle, which is much safer. More catch potential coming from Team Solo Mid in a composition we usually see. You could see a Lucian coming in here.
Lucian can maybe have a bit more escapability from the Nunu and won't get as messed up by the attack speed slow if he decides to pick it. Tristana is actually the only 80 carry, funnily enough, that WildTurtle has a losing record on during the regular season. Lucian was his most played at 5-3, even though it's been changed a fair bit, so it's slightly different.
Does Shiphtur play at mid lane?
Does Shiphtur just go Ziggs here? Again. I think so, honestly. Dig still doesn't bring a strong amount of initiation, but they still bring a really powerful team as a whole. TSM brings a lot of initiation.
You'd have the same matchup again. He just saw it. He just played it. The team played it well. No reason not to really choose Ziggs here, unless they're just not feeling it. It would work.
Yeah.
It gives you a huge amount of objective control as well. You can start making circles with Nunu.
Yeah, they have a pretty strong poke team
that's
hard to initiate on. I feel like that's what Dignitas would just try and play the game out as. If someone tries to initiate on the poke comp, that's when Nunu would take front line and try and ult. That's really Dignitas' only way of winning this one, because they do not have the split push threat they had in the last game, which means if they ever do want to go at it, they have to deal with the Maokai in a 5v5. They can't really split them off as well as they did last match.
Remember, in this matchup, we're still featured on the junglers as we watch these two try and really give their teams the upper hand in the early part of the game. Amazing was able to do a bit last time on Lee Sin. Now he's going to be on Elise. Crumbzz takes back the Nunu this time. Usually Dignitas would run the Nunu when they have the Nidalee, but they're running it now this time with kind of a poke composition, so we'll see.
And with the Gogma.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Late game, that's going to be even more powerful.
Not going to be able to split as much. That was the game for Zion Spartan, the first time on Nasus Dig, up 1-0 here in this best of 5. They're looking to face
that game 1 was a thriller.
Oh my gosh, 50 minutes already, and these guys have more games to play. It's going to be strenuous on the watchers, but these guys, everything is going through their mind right now, and they've got to keep at the top caliber of play. Remember to keep sharing your predictions by tweeting hashtag TSMWin or hashtag DigWin to @LOL Sports. We'll keep checking in throughout our games to see who you think will come out on top.
And we heard Kobe and Prawley talking about how calm TSM actually looked after that last game.
That's true.
It's very easy to go on tilt after defeat like the one they just suffered. Being so close to winning the game, feeling like you were kind of ahead the whole time, a little bit in control, because for the most part, TSM was pushing 4v4 Dignitas around the map pretty much the whole time, and then to lose that really feels bad because they feel like they should be up 1-0, yet now they have to win 3 of their next 4 to avoid not going to Worlds.
And we kind of don't talk about that very much. You know, like, what is tilting for a professional player?
Yeah, it's a ever-evolving term, for sure. No, tilting is just having the previous game in your mind and having that influence your decisions in negative ways. So if Dyrus had fights in the last game where he was going in alone and didn't have backup, he's going to be more hesitant to initiate because of that recent memory.
All right, we'll scrub it clean. New game to come here. There is a 1 on the side of Dignitas, but coming up through sports, they'll always tell you it's 0-0. And give it your best. That's what TSM is going to do coming into this one. Awards for the junglers, as usual. But it's going to be, again, a sweeper start for Crumbzz as they try to gain a little bit more early of a lead. We do have the swap again here, so we'll see KiWiKiD on Thresh, his roam Thresh with that lantern and hook able to come over the walls. Very big part of Dignitas' creation in this composition. Same thing they did last time. Zion Spartan on the front line. He was Nasus, though. Now on Mundo, they're going to go ahead and get the wards they need.
Now he's got cleavers.
Yeah.
That should help. I'll start with a health crystal. No Dorans, which really just means he's going to tank up into a Spectre's Cowl as quickly as possible, knowing that's really all he needs to effectively ignore Dyrus' damage output.
See,
if he's even in that lane that way.
He didn't spend too much time with Crumbzz in the split, and then he got KiWiKiD, so he may be able to do everything he needs with cleavers right in the beginning.
Right.
Keeping it safe. I like that little play that they do.
Dignitas seems to be pretty apt of just going for a lane swap and just avoiding the 2v2 against TSM.
I like
surprises me a little bit.
I like the fact that it starts off kind of something different. You're moving around the map. The other team instantly has to adapt, so you're kind of giving them something to think about. It's not a game changer, but you're already making the other team think. It's not a regular start. You're not just stealing buffs. Dig's always trying to set the pace in a different kind of way at the beginning of the game. Looks like it'll just be regular steals here, but again, we'll see what KiWiKiD does with the swap. Main focus for the beginning. And Amazing's going to not be by himself. Like, hey, Dyrus blends in. He's in the jungle.
So, very similar start to last game. I wonder how quickly Zion Spartan will run down to a 1v2, or if he's going to continue the 2v0 jungling. That's kind of the only change we're seeing as far as the early game positions go. Nope. So that Bjergsen dodging coming in handy.
See if he actually goes the same thing. We have the same matchup. They should be building the same if it really occurs that way. Now onto their own side. Really interested to see what happens once the solo laners go to the top and the bottom lanes here.
And I mean, they have Elise this game as well, which even though early dragons are often done through aggro trading, which is faking out the dragon to attack a different target before it actually attacks and it looks back and forth at you a bunch, they can just use spiderlings to tank some of the hits if they want to go for an early dragon. And unlike game 1, there's not 2 people bottom lane. to walk and stop that. So TSM would have the freedom to go for that. Yet instead they decide to tilt this mid lane matchup a bit.
Oh, wow. The double gank mid lane. He's able to dodge it. He throws on the heel, so he gets a little bit of speed under his feet. A very differently played game around the map. Mid lane getting ganked, a push in the bottom, and a freeze in the top.
And Zion actually teleported in. He's in danger of dying here.
Oh, no. This is kind of deja vu. I forgot it was 2 against, but that's usually a bad decision.
That was a really bad decision.
Yeah.
Honestly, teleports in with just a health crystal, not full health.
They've had that
and
lane
they easily 2v2 dive him. That almost gives up this dragon as well. If they can
no way.
Dance.
Early Elise, like you said.
Dance the dragon well enough. There's 5 people here. Of course they get the dragon.
What an early gameplay. Dignitas tries to set the same thing in motion, but TSM says, we know what's going to happen here. They put the pace on Zion Spartan in the bottom lane. Good old gank and Mundo before 6.
Yeah, Zion just made a big mistake right there. He went bottom lane without backup.
Yeah.
Nothing to stop the dive from working. Could not return any damage. And with the Ignite on Lustboy, an easy kill.
It happened a lot differently with the KiWiKiD there last time. Weren't able to kill Zion Spartan right away. He won't have the same start to the lane, but will more than likely still get to an end game portion here where Zion Spartan's pretty big. He just doesn't have the same start. We'll see how he takes that in the first 10 minutes of the game. He should still be all right before that 6. I don't see them going for too many more ganks in the bottom lane. Try and put that pressure somewhere else. Kill for Lustboy though, so the greatest, but still a good start.
And early boots and mobility picked up after that kill as well, which is kind of ideal for a support in these types of lane swap scenarios. TSM with a very big 5-minute gold lead.
Gonna use his
the gold lead right now is pretty much as big as the biggest gold lead from the last 55-minute game.
It's so true though.
Let's see if TSM can extend it.
Dyrus and Lustboy trying to use KiWiKid's roam against him. But he takes the safe way back and then comes through Tri-Brush. Gets his vision in, and they're going to be safe on this one. So he joins QtPie. He knows TSM is going for the dives this game. They have quite a bit of ability to do it. They have Dyrus in and out. Amazing, can repel and also attack from long range. So TSM's ready for the pick in the early game, and they've already used it once. Interesting. Now they're doing what Dig did last game, support on the top lane.
Yeah, against the Kog'Maw, who's got a pretty big level edge. So
yeah,
this is pretty much just Dyrus trying to survive, get some of his farm in so he can get his Rod of Ages at some point. Is that what he was thinking when he teleported in 1v2? Oh yeah, by the way, Zion Spartan had a reveal on Reddit in the pregame thread that he has something special planned for this series. It was most likely the Nasus, so they're 1-0 on this.
Just use it right away. They know the ace is in the sleeve. It's over now.
Yeah. What do they got left? Bunch of
that's what probably
boards.
was probably was saying. See if they can get it. And they did decide to. All right. Slow movement. QtPie still freezing this lane completely, making sure Dyrus doesn't get anything to himself. Can't farm the turret. Small gold lead here for TSM. It's not like they're going to push it too soon. Great wards from Crumbzz. He's trying to make sure everything to the top side of his jungle and hopefully the bottom side is safe. TSM grabbed an early turret, which means the pressure's about to start leaking out quite quick.
It's really true. When TSM has early game leads as well, they generally play very, very well. They have that this game, which is a big red flag for Dignitas.
There's one.
Yeah.
7-minute turret in the bottom lane. This means we're going to get a bit of a move. We'll see WildTurtle probably stay, but this means Lustboy can have a little bit more freedom. The vision is going to be up very much so here for Team Solo Mid, and you can already see like a light bright on the bottom side of Dig's jungle. They're ready to take that next blue buff, or at least see it.
I wonder if he's gonna be able to secure this. I think. He's gotta be careful it doesn't heal up. All right. Trying to block the lantern grab, so he walks away instead. All right, that's one way of getting away.
So actually, very good job here. Bjergsen not going to get that mana full bar. He's going to go down quite quick, but they're going to try and react to this. The pink ward being cleared out. Zion Spartan knows he's taking a little too long to make this happen. Not level 6 yet. This could be bad news. He shouldn't go down. There's not enough power for these two, but he is going to be pushed off of the game so far. Good hover by Bjergsen over in the mid lane. TSM's moving very well.
He's pushed back from farming as well. I'm really curious, actually, into Dignitas's logic about doing a lane swap in this particular game, because Mundo can lane quite nicely against Maokai.
Right. You're like,
The Kog'Maw Thresh is quite strong there as well. It's just strange because whenever you do swap up as the team that has to go top, you're putting yourself at a bit of a disadvantage.
Ouch. Like this?
Well, that's actually the advantage they can take because Dyrus
The advantage,
was not level 6 yet, so
the
he
disadvantageous numbers.
couldn't give himself the damage reduction that he needed. That's
Still,
Dignitas' first good big move of the game, but they still may end up trading an inner turret for having the resources up top lane to get that kill.
TSM doing a great job at working around Dignitas this game. They had quite a few more kills by this time last game, but they don't even want to see Dig. They said, yeah, we could fight, but it'd just be easier to take down the structures and control the map. It seems to be the game they want to play. So far, none of the lanes are super ahead in CS, but the turrets are really what's giving them the impact. 2K gold lead, 2-1 in those turrets. So we got a back from Bjergsen. He again goes for early Sorks, and now he's trying to finish up the Athenes. Pretty much matching items by Shiphtur, except for the completed boots there.
Yeah, we shouldn't expect too much variation from those mid laners.
Right.
They're very familiar with each other, as we saw them talking before the game. How they used to just always talk about mid lane matchups, what to do here and there. And even if they stop talking, knowing they're playing in the playoffs, there's all that transferred knowledge. They are very familiar with their play styles, and that's why you see such a close mid lane.
Yeah. Always between these two. Early sight stones. I want to say early. Regular for North American junglers here coming out if you're going to build one, both for Crumbzz and Amazing. Crumbzz also has the Quill, so he's got even more sight. He is really prioritizing that, as the Dignitas has since the beginning of this season. Once again, says nice lantern, thank you.
Right as the Dragon's coming up, though, now Crumbzz has no flash and is a little bit low. So TSM in full control of the Dragon Pit. They're doing a very good job adding to their lead.
Again, a situation of being able to stop a teleport and not being able to. The fight at the bottom, KiWiKiD gets out, 200 HP on the mark. Looks like these guys in the top lane going tit for tat. Come out pretty even.
Yeah, they end up getting themselves pretty low. Now the question will be how long until they're full health again?
Just a few.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Depends on how many spells are used and when they decide to use their teleports, because I wondered, Zion might end up having to give this turret up if TSM follows through with this rotation. There's pretty lackluster ward control by Dig here.
Yeah, they want this top turret because bottom's going to go down for Dignitas, or in favor.
This will be a trade,
Dignitas.
most likely.
So TSM gets the pings down, and they get everybody situated in the right spot here. Lustboy doing what he can, throwing water balloons at the turret. It finally goes down, and TSM is gaining some great map control. Dig only ready to break down the turret number 2 here on the outside. And TSM's looking at the final outer turret. It's already getting pinged in mid, and they're going to have the minion wave in just a second to get there.
You can really see, just on the general positioning of players on the map, who holds the advantage right here. TSM much deeper into Dignitas territory. However, this slight farm edge does still exist for Imaqtpie, which may be a lead later. Bjergsen, they don't get him again!
Shiphtur, he's still got the satchel, and he squeaky ducks himself to safety.
Woo, that was close.
He's good. Good to go. See if he can get back. Yeah, he's just going to come back around and farm. They have great vision on the bottom side of that jungle. KiWiKiD taking a bit more than he would like, but still trying to bait in that aggression. Say, yeah, you can kill me. It's safe, I swear.
Oh man, and TSM's actually the one that gets a second tier turret as well. Dyrus!
Uh-oh.
Buddy.
Oh, no!
Goodbye.
Whoa. Goodbye. Bio
Getting angry.
down. Had to flash in on that one. Nice clear in the mid lane. They have a few spiderlings to tank this up, and actually will be able to take it down. So very well played by TSM. Working off the ball here. They lose a turret, but they've gained so much.
Yeah, even though Dyrus died in the bottom lane, I don't consider it a big problem because they have 5 turrets by 12 minutes if you're TSM.
Right. And a TP.
It's going to be a little bit tricky for Dig to get away from this.
KiWiKiD is most likely going to go down in this situation. TSM's trying to close in. No more Dignitas members are coming to the aid of QtPie or KiWiKiD. Oh, lambs to the slaughter. Get him! Boom! Auto attack down. Wait a minute. Yeah!
Oh!
Oh, what a fantastic kill.
I feel like he should have given that to Turtle, but they're happily in the lead right now. He finishes his chalice for that one.
That's pretty
And they save the turret. that's the biggest thing amongst all this. A 3-turret lead by 13 minutes. The difference from this game to the previous game is just monumental. The amount of early pressure the TSM had and their ability to transition it into a substantial advantage at this point. The wave clear is not as good for Dig right here. No Corki in that lane, no Nasus as well. And even though the Nunu is picked for the early game presence, it just has not been there. And TSM is looking really strong in the second game.
No, the only early game presence they're getting out of Nunu is the wards. I mean, they have a ton of them, and they're putting them down, but not really acting on it. Everything, as we said, TSM has been kind of moving around the outside. Hey. Got him.
They're able to secure their own blue, so Zig should be able to wave clear against the 6th turret from falling before 15 minutes, but that is not the greatest of prizes to achieve when you've already lost 5 turrets.
Mega Inferno just came up. Dignitas pretty much in fight formation right now. Zion Spartans being human sentry as they walk away through the jungle. Pink ward just above the top side. So you can see where they kind of feel their defensive line is, where they can put pink wards down and secure them. It's just behind their red. You can see they're trying to fight for the forward side of their jungle now.
One thing that Dignitas can hope to come back from is that Dyrus is still pretty weak right now.
Yeah.
As long as they can stop him from having items, there's no real tank line for TSM to go in with. But if he gets tanky, it almost feels like the game is lost for Dig.
This is all Dig really did to get their win. These little things. TSM takes red. They take the majority of turrets, and they're slowly moving their way in. There's no real way for Dignitas to get any picks off of these pushes, so TSM is pretty much right as rain to keep doing this as long as they don't obviously make a mistake and go too far beyond the turrets. Dig, a lot of power in numbers this time. No split push strategy, and you can see it's really stalling out anything they want to do.
This is a big disadvantage. We're approaching 4,000 only at 15 minutes into the game. I have to call to attention the biggest deficit we saw actually turn into victory for a team was a 5.1,000 deficit at 20 minutes. I'm talking about at the 20-minute break point.
Right.
And that was by Counterlogic Gaming versus Complexity. Outside of that, they don't get very big. It's like a 3,000 was the biggest goal lead. So Dignitas, unless they do something really drastic, really soon, will lose this game.
Triforce is built up onto QT Pie. Looks like he's going to have a little bit of attack speed with that. Hasn't finished the Zerkers, but he's stacking on the daggers. 142 to 143 in that mid lane. CS is actually pretty good for the mid laners. A little low for the tops as they 2v1 at the beginning. And now TSM trying to put their foot down. They're saying it's been long enough. There's 20 seconds on to Dragon, and we need to start taking control.
I'm very impressed with the way TSM has systematically approached this game, because you had a team in Dignitas that had to be on such an emotional high after that victory. Having a Nasus kill a Nexus by himself with Elise in his face. It doesn't get much better than that as far as winning games. Yet TSM has been calm, cool, and collected. This whole match, they caught Zion Spartan in a mistake right away and turned something big on. Dig is doing this on top of a ward.
Oh dear.
They were hoping it wasn't warded. That was a total desperation play. They didn't even check the outside brush for pinks because they were hoping to sneak in undetected.
The sweepers in the bottom lane that they have up right now, and Shiphtur's getting pushed around in the mid, dodging out some bubbles, but you can just see the control TSM has, that one ward in their movement, dictating the beat of the drum towards mid lane. Dignitas is forced to pull off here, and TSM looks like they're going to get some good damage on this turret. WildTurtle has actually got some big damage in a different build.
He's in such a strong point in the game right now with that cooldown reduction he has on Lucian.
Going for a Yomu's Lucidity and Infinity?
Probably Infinity Edge Ghostblade.
Yeah.
With the cooldown boots. He's already sitting at 25% CDR. With the way Lucian's cooldown refining mechanics work with his E, he's going to be dashing every which way.
Oh, deja vu. Zion Spartan taking down turrets by himself. He throws on the ultimate. So it's going 37 HP per tick. It's going to keep him pretty healthy coming up in these fights. He doesn't even have a finished item to a stacking Rod of Ages now going for Dyrus, so he's getting those stats built up as the game goes on. Crumbzz has done what he can so far in this early game. Nunu. It wasn't exactly very big winning lanes for Dig, as Dyrus said they would try to pick and transition into late game. So we'll have to see how they can play a late game with kind of mediocre power.
True right there. Dignitas' late game power would be very high if they can get there with reasonable gold deficits. That's the thing they have to keep in mind. It's about minimizing a catastrophe in the mid game right here, which is very apt to happen. Knowing that TSM has such control vision-wise and such a superior team fighting team at the moment, it'd be very hard for Dignitas to delay these Barons. That's one of the ways they were able to hold on in game 1 for so long, even though the game was much closer, is Dignitas never really gave TSM good control over Baron. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it this time.
All things considered, last game was very close. And you have 2 of 3 of the same members that TSM picked, only switching up a few that allows them to initiate a little bit better. So they're pretty much working with everything they did last time. It's just happening correctly and in their favor. Bjergsen is even built a little differently. No poor man's build, as Prolly said. He's able to kind of put that Rabadons or whatever he wants.
He should be going Deathfire Grasp second, if we're looking at that item.
True. That's not a Seekers yet, so yeah. No armor, really, to go against.
Bjergsen should not have thrown the blue buff over that early. This guy doesn't like being messed with like this. They're burning a lot of mana. Just let him go.
Smite it.
He wants to go home.
Rah, 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 rah.
All right, now they can get it. Don't do it again, whatever you do.
Raid boss fight.
All right. They lost so much time and pressure for that maneuver.
Dignitas MVP, blue buff.
Helping them with the stall, that's for sure.
That turret could be down in mid.
Whoa.
I mean, Dig would have answered the pressure of TSM as they are right now, but TSM could have been there a lot sooner. So red buff for Turtle. They finally get the blue buff of Shiphtur after wasting a few summoners and smites.
That was a great bubble by Lustboy right there to force the flash out of Shiphtur, positioning it just such that it was not dodgeable for him.
One more time. I love Crumbzz coming in from the side. He's like, who wants to shoot the turret? I'll just blast you with some ice. And Henry runs away as Turtle's the closest member.
Well, they don't want a team fight TSM right now.
Down.
He was just hoping he looked scary.
Turtle. Wow. Very brave. Good move not to take the red buff. They don't know exactly what is around them right now. They haven't really swept. He's going to go and find out that it's being taken. Crumbzz says, yummy. You're not going to go in. Called your bluff.
But he got the red buff, meanwhile.
Steal by WildTurtle. 12s and 10s as they make their way out here 20 minutes into the game. 1:44 on the clock. Looks like Bjergsen holds down mid as Dignitas really can't get themselves into any position that they had last game. So it's kind of coming up with the strategy on the fly now.
And it's actually something Dignitas hasn't been that great at.
Yeah.
When they're behind at 20 minutes this year, they have a 2-10 record. Whereas when TSM is ahead of 20 minutes, it's 13-3. And this was a big 20-minute victory. So all of the trends are pointing to this series becoming tied at 1-1. But you do have to play the games, as we've learned many times this split. Nice scout there by KiWiKiD.
Great living artillery just on the edge.
It's very hard for TSM to actually bait fights at the Baron area knowing that Kog'Maw can scout so well. That actually kind of means TSM has to just get kills from turret pushing or just straight up start the Baron.
Looking around and see who has really the item max here. Not max, but a better amount of core items, I should say.
The power spikes.
Right. Nobody really. I mean, that Yomu's is finished, but so is the Triforce on the other side, so you're going to get a lot of pen and shots coming out of that culling from WildTurtle when activated. So
they're hoping for an initiation here. Can Bjergsen get one? Dyrus flashing!
Whoa! Dyrus onto Crumbzz. They take him out immediately. That's the crowd control to stop him from getting to the back line. A shock and awe teleport in strategy from Dyrus and the rest of TSM. And they come out on top.
All started with the stun by Bjergsen as well. That's the type of trigger they had to pull to get this Baron started, but they're still trying to Baron against a Ziggs. Dig does not want to give this up without a fight.
They said if it's not a 50-50, we feel more than happy to do it, or at least pressure it into a fight, Jack. 22.5 minutes in, they're very low. Zion Spartan going on to Bjergsen. He's not going to be able to get himself in. KiWiKiD's a little too close there. Tries to throw down a great box, but nobody's going to be forced to walk through it. Dyrus breaks the walls out, and Lustboy takes a hit from Baron.
Baron has switched teams. He's on Dignitas' side now. It takes down Lustboy at the end of all that. But really, it was great moves by TSM to manufacture those kills. It goes to show you how strong Maokai is when he can actually join the team without losing his own base.
It's all about being the first to initiate, and TSM was.
They had Crumbzz from a couple different angles there.
That
Missing also
wave
landed the
was great.
Cocoon. And Lustboy with the flank tidal wave completely secured that fight.
TSM making big moves now, a 6,000 gold lead on the mark. 3 more turrets to their advantage as well. 6-3 overall on that. 5 more turrets stand on the map, 11 in total. Those last 2 being the Nexus. We'll see who gets to take them down. I don't think we're gonna have Dyrus doing it for his team all by himself. It's gonna have to be a team effort this time. I don't know if Dig's gonna be able to stop it here in game 2.
With the way that last one went,
Yeah.
it's pretty dangerous to get in there. Death cap this time for Bjergsen. He just sat on the amplifying tome. Amplifying tome?
Good catch. Yes, because the tomb you rest in.
Making sure.
Yeah.
He's real powerful right now. Being able to burst down pretty much anyone except Zion Spartan. Even him, though, he might be able to take out.
Oh, what? Right over the
You're not going to go in through a Dyrus, though, is the problem. Turtle
That
forces a flash because he's Lucian. No, at this point in the game, Lucian does absurd amounts of damage with that Ghost Blade active.
You can crit twice after. It's painful. Oh, just missing on the side. They're getting good damage onto Dyrus. He was the one to initiate last time. Got to remember, that was a shock and awe initiation from TSM. They didn't kind of walk that one in. It was slightly telegraphed, but it was nothing like this. Dignitas is well organized to recuperate from these fights and assess what's going on, so it's going to be a bit more difficult now. We don't have that teleport home guard.
This minion wave needs to be cleared by TSM, unfortunately, because they have so much ward control at the Baron area, but that is a monstrosity of a minion wave down bottom that is too much to pass up. So hopefully those wards for TSM's sake stay up long enough for them to return pressure on Baron, just because they spent so much time setting that up. Dyrus clears it easy. He's Maokai.
Things going up along the side. As TSM says, we need at least some vision here.
A lot of wards fall, though, when they send Maokai bottom.
That's what Dig has to do. That's kind of the game of give and take. You send somebody bottom, you have enough time to clear wards, but that's about it. Clear too many and you lose half health on 2 of your members. Great job by Bjergsen there. He comes
And it's
out
right back
on
to
top, saves the ping.
It's right back to being under pressure for Dignitas as well.
One-man army here. Just get away from my Baron. The rest of the team's doing what they want. That's the path. They just pinged. They want that path before they can start anything.
Oh, there's no turrets to save them here, but I don't know if TSM's initiation is in place.
Lustboy going crazy right now. He pulls out the ultimate. The box goes down, but so does Lustboy. Dignitas cuts up the fish quick, and it looks like they want a little bit more. Zion Spartan with the ultimate on only takes a few hits of damage. He actually doesn't have any armor right now.
What a fight so far by Dignitas. Lustboy getting way too confident before TSM was able to follow his initiations. And a team with a 7,000 gold lead actually gets a kill and then makes TSM ping back and go back.
All right, recuperation time here for Dig. Let's clean up some lanes. We definitely need to get some things pushed out and start getting more forward wards. TSM is putting on the Stranglehold, and even Amazing right now is stealing up all the resources before he tries to exit the jungle. Definitely a different game 2 here from TSM with basically the same composition, just done differently.
It's just Dignitas decided for a different strategy.
Yeah.
Is really what it comes down to. TSM's kind of doing the same thing that they wanted to do first game, but it's working against this Dig team because Dig has no split push threat this time. So as soon as they lose their lanes or lose a few team fights, they have to get really creative.
This could become even more difficult going into the next game. The TSM feels like they have this strong of a stranglehold on Dig. You came in with one split push strat, we can shut it down. But can they? Still answering that.
Maybe in game 3, Dignitas goes back to it again.
Maybe.
It's not like TSM changed it up to prevent Dig's split push. Nope. Dig chose not to do it again in fear that TSM had a counter. But we've yet to see it.
Yet to really see
KiWiKiD
get that blood boil as well. They going for the kill. Bjergsen gets hit. Mega Inferno Bomb goes down. Bjergsen follows with it. Now they're trying to find the rest of the DPS. Coming out of WildTurtle on the backside. They're focusing onto Dyrus, and he's making sure they have to. What teamwork from TSM? They start to close down in the HP bars at Dignitas now. Turtle puts himself in a safe situation.
They cannot kill
the living
Dyrus.
artillery gets the hit. He takes down Turtle. Beautiful job by Dignitas. After the entire time of fighting Dyrus, somehow they come out on top of this fight. TSM doesn't get the right focus.
What a catch by Dignitas. We said they had to get a little bit creative, but they catch the main farmer of TSM and then win a team fight in the face of a tanky Imaqtpie. Now they're trying to do Baron on top of a pink ward. They're not even wasting hits on the pink ward. They want this Baron.
Bubble to Shiphtur, that's not going to matter too much. Baron getting hit up. Baron is down. Dignitas somehow comes out on top of a back and forth that was nowhere near being in their favor for the last 5 minutes.
Wow, is all I can say here. Bjergsen gets over-aggressive again with Dyrus in the bottom lane. So by the time Imaqtpie gets into this fight, Bjergsen is already down. And as far as actual damaging contributors, it's kind of a two-carry team right here. WildTurtle and Bjergsen. It's just Turtle in the back trying to shoot as much as he can. And really, he can't shoot everybody. That's the big thing. Zion Spartan's a tank in front of him. They're kind of ignoring Dyrus. I'm not really sure what's happening. He was there for about 30 seconds. And they eventually are able to win that crazy fight because of the numbers advantage. And with the Baron afterwards, they might actually be stronger 5v5.
That is kind of ridiculous, chat. What is going on right now? Playoffs are definitely living up to some playoff games. 7-6, coming up on 30 minutes. Both teams testing each other to the max.
As we mentioned, because of the gold leads, this would be one of the largest comebacks all split for North America if Dignitas can pull this one out. But they have a very late game focused team composition. And they have caught Dyrus a little bit.
They have QTPie.
TSM is rushing in.
QTPie's in it. They have the Blade of the Rune King to go down. Dyrus is getting shredded right now. But what's the answer? The whole team is staying for Dragon as well. They're going to lose an inhibitor.
Right, Zion's got to teleport somewhere if he wants to save this. Zigzal comes in.
That's going down still.
Yeah, no teleport. That's an inhibitor unless they get all the way back. Crumbzz is actually taking the Dragon down, but they respect the Dignitas team.
Dignitas could have, or TSM could have 2 here. We still have a teleport coming back. They probably figured that Crumbzz is doing it. You're right.
Not with Zig there. The gold got a lot closer, though. Amongst all that, yes, Dignitas lost an inhibitor turret, but Zion got a lot more farm down bottom lane. They secured another Dragon, and there's also the fact that they killed Dyrus once again.
I've seen this.
He killed turrets a little faster last time.
Yeah. Cleavers, not so much. So a 3,000 gold lead. That was 6. Dignitas scratching and clawing back to get in this game. Looks like they're going to go ahead and start opening up the map as well. Once mid goes down, that really frees up a lot of open passages into the jungle of TSM. KiWiKiD getting a little caught out there, but the rest of the team knows he's just going to go down for now.
That is one of the things that happens when you have a playmaker like KiWiKiD on the team. It's an accepted risk. He makes so many plays, but then he also makes those mistakes, and now Dignitas kind of on their back foot. I was about to say, before that happened, that barring against a mistake, Dignitas may have won the game. Just because they have such a strong teamfight composition, and they have survived the large deficit that they faced early. But now with KiWiKiD going down, exposing this potential inhibitor push, it could be TSM's chance back in the game.
0-5, Zion Spartan is up once he knows his team can either stop from this. Oh, wow.
Whoa, this is 4-5.
Kale's coming out as well. Bjergsen gets hit. KiWiKiD comes back for the hook. Can Crumbzz get the extra damage out? They finally take down Crumbzz, but it's Turtle going down as well. Lustboy going for their chase with Zion Spartan as he runs him down. And it's QTPie and KiWiKiD versus Dyrus and Amazing. KiWiKiD with their double flay to stop the damage from coming in. It's not going to be much that Amazing or Dyrus would put out anyway. And here comes the Zion Spartan, still ready to fight, still ready to keep everybody in range, but it's going to be tough. The slight
until he gets back up. There's the backup.
That's going to be one going down. Amazing, the Cocoon. The living artillery is still there. Another one. Coming in for another. Oh, no! It's the repel. He's got nowhere to go, though. Huzzah. Locking it down.
Into the waiting jaws of Imaqtpie Dogma right there. That's a big-time fight by Dig. You could see how aggressive they went for that. They knew they had a team fight edge.
Oh.
Yeah. Double buff Kog'Maw, you don't want to mess with him. They don't get the inhibitor either. The big thing about this fight wasn't so much the catch onto Bjergsen, it was the kill onto WildTurtle. He ate all of the Ziggs damage, and then Zion Spartan finished him off. That's the big thing. It's this two-threat team by TSM that is getting its carries executed by nice teamfight initiations from Dignitas. Once that happens, you can see without damage dealers, there's nothing they can do against Kog'Maw.
Zion Spartan playing his role perfectly throughout this game. He's always gunning for WildTurtle. He was able to win the game for his team last time. He is just firing on all cylinders right now.
The emotional swings that must be happening during these games.
Oh my gosh.
Dignitas comes off this huge high from winning game 1. They have an atrocious start to game 2. That level 2 teleport down bottom lane actually happened from Zion Spartan. He started this game in a huge hole, yet you wouldn't know it if you're turning into the game right now because you see this monster Mundo running around team fights, destroying people. And I really wonder if TSM can recover once again. They had the nice recovery from the game 1 loss with this great game 2 start, but now they've had this terrible game 2 mid-game. They have to turn it around once again.
And you can see KiWiKiD is even more ready to put himself in dangerous spots. He picks himself up a Banshee's Veil to negate Bjergsen's attack on himself as well. So these guys are really, well, there's a volatile spider. Knocks that out of the books.
See you later, spider. Yeah,
we'll see if he can get some hooks in. It's going to be pretty difficult. Dignitas' last fights have kind of been TSM giving them to them, walking in, trying to get the inhib, and Dig's saying, yeah, give it, keep giving them. We'll take the kills.
Dig's initiation has been Crumbzz like flashing the Ice Blast someone, and then everyone else piling on.
It works.
It works. You're absolutely right.
110 on Baron. Something's going to have to work soon for one of these teams. There's really no vision right now in that area, so it's going to be about picking that up. Everybody's pretty much got their own side of the jungle warded. Now it's on to the other side of the rift. See what you can do.
Zion pops his ultimate a little bit. It's on a short cooldown. He'll be okay. It's a bit surprising. No Baron up for another 45 seconds. Dig will need a little bit better vision control, but again, the double scrying orb. It's their way of dealing with Baron without having deep ward coverage. It's been really well done. Normally teams that face these big deficits or weak team fights because of gold leads just give up Baron, and that's the way other teams are winning games. But what Dignitas has been able to do here with 2 scrying orbs and just Kog'Maw and Zig scouting has kept them in this game. Cannot be understated. But they get Bjergsen again.
Oh,
kind of. Nope.
He loves that wall, but it actually becomes his death this time. He tries to go a little too hard. They're going to keep going on this. Satchel charge for Shiphtur gets him out, and TSM's going to be looking to take down the inhibitor if they can't just go for Baron here with the vision.
KiWiKiD thought exactly what I did right there. I hooked a Syndra. Let's go. But it was not a good idea this time. The follow-up could not arrive at the right moment for Dig, and now it's a bit of a 5v4. This is the Kog'Maw just raining damage on TSM, though.
Doesn't have blue. You can see just how fast that actually depletes a Kog'Maw's mana bar as well. Shiphtur very low on that, so they can't be throwing out too much poke for themselves. Oh, man.
All right. Where'd the scrying orb go?
There it is. They just used one.
Okay.
They're both down. Pink wards and wards are about to go in, so they're safe. At least for down the protection. What a crazy game. 2K gold stands between these two teams in favor of TSM. Looks like they're both going to respect each other at this point. Some buys to be had here. The back-to-buy for TSM. Looks like Dyrus needs some mana as well. He's going to go ahead and get some wards down for the team. Make sure they know what to control. He says blue's up. Well, I don't know if they have enough time to take it. They have the vision, though, if Dig does go for it. That could be the biggest upper hand they have.
Maybe a solo dragon as well.
Yeah.
TSM in position here pretty easily.
Saw WildTurtle do that before. Didn't turn out well. He's got some more damage this time, so he should be all right.
It's funny, Dignitas is so paranoid about this Baron that the rest of the map is just freely going away to Dig.
Oh, I just noticed WildTurtle has like a scepter. That's why he's not getting his health back. Not too much heals for Lucian this time. 11 to 11, Jat 4K is the gold lead, being stretched just a little bit with that Dragon. The rest of it, Dragon being worth just about the max amount right now as everybody's towards that level 18. Baron's live. We still have yet to see Crumbzz really blood boiling PewDiePie in these fights. He's been really not there to get the attention. That could be a big change.
True. And whether or not they can get actual threat on Imaqtpie, it pretty much has to be WildTurtle flanking around the side of the fight or Bjergsen catching him with something. Otherwise, Imaqtpie will probably have enough damage to kill Dyrus and then extend that to the rest of the team. They're very freely hitting this Baron and daring TSM to go in for a steal. They have the new confidence right now. And the hook.
PewDiePie turning on the Bio-Arcane Barrage. They start throwing in damage. WildTurtle gets great hits onto KiWiKiD with the calling to the backside.
Baron's still shooting.
Nobody's going down just yet. They do have to get themselves out of that aggro range.
It's an open inhibitor, actually. WildTurtle's making a run for it.
Hey.
Dignitas can't get back in time, I don't think.
Making plays. WildTurtle trying to do this all by himself. He's even going to get the
PewDiePie made it
siege
back.
damage on it. cannot get closer though. KiWiKiD, good back, as he said, along with KiWiKiD. TSM are still going to attempt this. Crumbzz actually went back as well, so the smite attempt is not there. Zion Spartan gets hit up.
Better pop
Should
his ultimate.
be able to break this crowd control for at least a little bit.
Oh, they get him!
He takes quite a bit though. We'll see if they can rebuttal this. Shiphtur taking damage. Oh, he misses the Ardent Blaze. That's not the passive movement speed that he wanted. They go back. KiWiKiD gets a few shots. Oh my gosh, the heal and the Mikhail's Crucible. It's not enough. The living artillery. He threads it through and gets the kill on WildTurtle.
If Turtle can kill Shiphtur there, that is a Baron for sure for TSM, but because of the great escape, it may just go back in the other direction. Dignitas is getting vision control back, and Bjergsen is stalking his prey.
A little bit of tunneling going on here as teams want every last bit of these fights because it's going to result in a Baron for your team.
They're still doing it.
12
They
to
have
12.
no
Yeah,
Mundo
40
tank
minutes
right now, but they kill it so fast. Half health.
Smites. Both
It's a
smites are
forward.
there.
This is suicide if they get spotted.
They're already spotted. Oh, that was so close to being
Can't
caught
believe they're
on the
still hitting that
cocoon.
Baron.
KiWiKiD is putting himself in the front right now, using that red buff to
I can't
taunt
believe they're
people.
still hitting this Baron. There are 4 people on TSM here ready to stop him.
Crumbzz is trying to get the bites in every time he can. Zion Spartan's into the
So
fight.
much poke was landed by Shiphtur there while hitting the Baron. They're going to get it.
No way!
Easy.
They watched them do it. TSM has a full book of Polaroids of Dignitas doing Baron just now at 39 minutes, and it's almost tied up. 2K gold lead, that's what we saw going back and forth between the last game. And that was Dignitas' win. They're now in control with Baron, but they need the turrets.
Now that's gone. I feel like I have so many memories of Dignitas making errors at Baron that I just intrinsically feel like they're making a mistake when they're around the pit. But in these first 2 games, they have made such amazing decisions around the Baron pit. From deficits,
Nothing like
coming
before.
in at just the right moment and zoning out properly while freely taking damage from Baron because they know the general health of everyone in the fights. This was what kind of set this play up, the fact that they were able to finish off WildTurtle here.
Bjergsen down, Turtle down.
Yeah. I definitely think after the fact now that with Turtle dead, as far as the actual Barons start going, the level of sustained damage from TSM if they would have engaged on them was actually really low because they just had the Syndra who was off on the side at half health and they had no threat from the Lucian because he was dead. So it was just Dignitas making a really smart call and securing Baron number 2.
And number 2, but number 5 overall in the series. 5 of 5 for Dignitas. Controlling these games, controlling the objectives, and doing it somehow from behind in gold. First game, they were pretty much up, but this one, they have been clawing their way back, and it does not seem to have affected any of their initiations. Zion Spartan there, you can see 4 members of TSM reacting to Zion Spartan's movements here. He's still able to push them out of their own brush. A lot of control with that Baron. You can see how it's affecting Team Solo Mid.
Yeah, the strength of Dignitas in team fights now is so high. It looks like they're going to pull off this comeback. Still haven't even made it back in gold, but that doesn't really matter at this point. With the 4 big items on Shiphtur, Imaqtpie having his Infinity Edge, Mundo being who he is.
Yeah, they're trying to make impact moves too. The red elixir onto Zion Spartan so they can go a little bit harder if necessary. Putting that final gold into all the utility that you can. Hook just missing. Very good by Dyrus not to pinch himself between a wall with skill shots on hand.
Even with a little bit of Dyrus lockdown,
Yeah.
KiWiKiD was only hitting that turret. They take a good 2/3 out of it.
If
TSM's willing to stick around, I feel like they'd have to be willing to fight on the next wave as well.
If they get a good catch, they have got the Talisman of Ascension as well, so they can get into a fight they need to. But they have to. Without Bjergsen or Turtle last time, Dig didn't give him any respect at the Baron.
It's just so hard to move through a Nunu once you fall behind.
Right.
The amount of tank that is on Dignitas just seems overwhelming for Dyrus, but they're going.
Where is it? They lock down the Talisman of Ascension. This is TSM going for broke. Dyrus is in the fight. Nobody's really following him. Turtle's not even shooting his guns right now. They are pushed back. Holy Mega Inferno Bomb, and it's going to be the turret going down in mid lane. 13 to 12. Only 1 kill was picked up there, but the brute force is right through the middle.
Look at Dignitas, how healthy they are right there. They just couldn't push through the wall that was Dignitas' team at this point in the game. They're inhibitor down.
They're amazingly healthy, and so are their lanes all the way past River. They can go to top if they want. Baron's still ticking for another full minute. Dignitas on a roll here.
Gonna give him that nice health regen for every bit of harass they took there, but they rotate down a little bit low.
I think I can take the top turret, and TSM says, no, you cannot. That's gonna be a kill going on to Crumbzz. Wait a minute, for a little bit, TSM gets a bit back as well. Zion Spartan trying to use the ultimate.
Great
it's
bubbles.
already been used. Lustboy helping to keep them in range with the rest of the team, and they pick up 3 on the exit. Should never have happened. That Baron could have been used.
KiWiKiD giveth and KiWiKiD taketh away right there, because him and Zion took a completely unnecessary path towards that next turret. They were thinking the TSM was unwilling to fight after being pushed off so quickly, and they end up receiving 3 deaths. This is most likely exposing that middle inhibitor. Look at the length of these death timers and how close TSM is to that inhibitor.
Dig has been fighting off in the mid lane to the TSM side so much, I forgot this was down. We still have such a game here. Inhibitor should be hit up.
They gotta respect him a little bit, but it's still a 4v2. So the inhibitor should go down if they dodge enough skill shots.
Oh, he almost got the kill on WildTurtle, just sidestepped the Mega Inferno. Shiphtur even rocking the Elixir of Brilliance to get a little more ability power cooldown for himself, and you can see the bombs are hurting. Bjergsen looking to chuck an orb to slow anybody down if they chase. He's not going to get any attention on that one. 44 minutes into this one, Jack. God, this best of 5 series, amazing.
It definitely feels like the game is trending in Dignitas' favor, but TSM keeps making plays. They keep making plays and keep themselves in the game. WildTurtle, if he can get in position in fights, can do a lot of damage, but with the short range on Lucian, trying to navigate around a Mundo and a Nunu is ridiculously difficult. Almost caught up.
Almost. Only 1,000 gold off. That's so crazy. 7-7 turrets evened up on that mark. We're gonna have QTPie backing here, putting out the same damage as WildTurtle, but face to face, if you can dodge anything on WildTurtle side, QTPie is gonna have the upper hand there. Bjergsen picks up his blue. Wonder if we'll be getting that to Shiphtur anytime soon as well. Looks like he might already have it as his man's charging up. Minute 14 left on Baron Jat. That's really the only time we've seen these teams going at each other's throats, but it's a little bit different as well from the regular season, because usually we just see both teams stalling out, not wanting to do anything. These guys are definitely hungry for the win.
Yeah, and Dignitas is playing really scrappy right now, is really the best way I can put it.
That's what QTPie said. We run around and get kills. Let's do it.
2, 6, and 10 there on the Thresh. Baron going to be up at 45, and again, the way that Dignitas is positioning around this Baron pit, I mean, this is part of their red side strategy as well, if we think about it. It's the positions with which they can use the scrying orb and the positions with which they can be snuck up on. It's just a different dynamic from the red side. They can lob harass in over the wall if TSM ever tries to do Baron without actually having to make big decisions.
Right.
It extends beyond just the pick and ban phase. You can see how well prepared Dignitas is for these defensive Baron plays on the red side of the map.
Yeah. As you said, the Baron plays are huge. They're able to come in and funnel TSM out, whereas if they were to come in from the blue side, then you're funneled into the Baron pit. So Dig is really working this one perfectly.
The ability to peel off the Baron for a fight is much greater, or it's much diminished on this side of the map.
Right.
As far as TSM trying to fight Dignitas when Dignitas comes in to check, because they're all in the pit. Unless everyone can jump over, it's this long run around as they're trying to check.
TSM trying to utilize a bit of vision. They do have pink ward control on Baron, but none further than that. The investment of those wards would be taken down immediately by Dig. We've seen this fight before, just not with the Mundo.
Hoping for some revenge of the tree here, but that is a big call there by TSM.
Yeah.
They have the scrying orbs, but do they use them? They get a ward inside as well. And again, TSM has to pull off.
Dyrus goes back to base. See what he decides to put in, or at least just get his mana bar buffed up here. He's waiting to teleport in if he needs to. He chooses to teleport behind, trying to pinch in the rest of the team here. QTPie sees it.
Really
so
got
does the rest of the team.
I think KiWiKiD's caught on the other side.
Oh no! Yeah, but that's going to be amazing, taking Baron damage. He tries to repel. A good flash by KiWiKiD. Oh, what a bro move by Crumbzz to eat the culling for Kiwi. Zion Spartan gets hit up there as Dyrus, very big, throws down the Maelstrom, throws it off immediately. Teleports have been used by Dyrus. So we'll see as this fight's right here. That doesn't really matter that much.
Actually, because of the returned inhibitor as well, there's a super minion helping push here for TSM, and the inhibitor will be respawning shortly. They're in position for some good things. This game still proving to be very close.
Oh my gosh, Dignitas forced to move in the left side of their base now, so they're kind of getting pinched in from the wrong side.
Sam.
It should be all right though. That turret gets up and it gets saved. Good push with Baron still being alive. Will that be the attempt?
The Baron checking will continue right here. How well can they sweep the wards? How much vision can they control? And can they actually get a Baron? They've been in position to get Baron so many times already in these last 2 games.
It's so incredibly scary how effective this team is from this triangle of fight, right?
Oh my
man.
gosh. Flash down.
The Fog of War is such a benefit for Bjergsen on Syndra and amazing for the catch. TSM have been back to that spot all too often to try and engage a fight. Whoa, Dignitas
They
puts
catch
on the
Dyrus!
fight. Oh my gosh, 48 minutes in, Dyrus gets hit up, but he has been very hard to kill. The focus is still onto him. Tidal Wave comes through and they try to disengage a little bit. It's going to be still the push through for Dignitas with Crumbzz in the front and Zion Spartan just on his heels. They are forcing TSM back into their own base right now.
Yeah, there's not very far to run.
Dignitas'
Turtle's
base.
caught.
Gets hit up, a good flash, a good heal, kind of disengages the slow he had on him. A good throw from Bjergsen, slowing Zion Spartan on the Mundo ultimate as well. Spiderlings doing what they can to stop the re-engage. Dignitas wants it, missing the hook from KiWiKiD, and TSM is doing their damnedest to disengage everything Dignitas is throwing at them.
I mean, how long can they run away? Apparently, infinitely. We knew Dig didn't have the strongest of initiation, but this is just absurd by TSM being able to run away.
Does this mean Baron number 6?
That's the question, because they just pushed so many people on Dignitas, on TSM back. Dyrus has no teleport, and the
Oh god.
Ring of Moran continues right here. Dig, though, is fearless around the Baron pit.
Another repel used up. They're going to try to close down right onto Amazing here. He could make it farther than Dig wants to go. They don't want to go into the
Four
vision where they don't
hits.
have it. It's a few more that does hit. Scatter the Wheat comes over the wall. Dignitas takes one more down. That is a 50-50 Baron now out of the window.
Be Baron.
They have to be able to take this.
You look at what's still up on TSM. They have a Syndra ultimate. They're actually looking for this fight, I think, trying to get as much damage down as possible.
Culling hardly going through Zion Spartan on that one. Turtle doing what he can. The 6th Baron of the game will go down to Dignitas. Another 50-minute matchup. 15-4 in this bloodbath. And Zion Spartan leads the charge as Baron now taking around Dignitas again. Game number 2 living up to game number 1 as well.
Yeah.
And it looks like TSM backs off here to fight another day.
What a series. So 3 Barons taken by Dig in this game, 3 Barons taken by Dig in the previous game.
My God.
All while pretty much being the weaker team fight team. Amazing. You do not see that happen.
No.
So this has been very well played by Dignitas is all I can really say. But the itemization is creeping higher and higher. We saw a big danger in that last fight for Dig in their inability to hold off anyone on TSM. The move speed Lustboy was having to just help people out in the right spots. The slows and knockbacks TSM could spam while they were retreating kept them alive. And we're again 50 minutes into the game with the world being even. This is unreal.
What an amazing play by both teams. These guys, it's going to start getting a lot more physical than it is mental. They're going to go the long haul here, and it's going to be quite tiring. Best of 5 game. Dignitas actually looks to take game number 2, which would weigh on the minds of TSM and the rest of the team even more so. So that's 2 things you're fighting against here. The 3-1 head-to-head is in Dig's favor historically, and they are showing why that is true. The split push composition in game 1, and now the brute force objective composition of game 2. Back down to the mid lane, chat. Looks like they want the inhib, and they're going to go around the Rosie. Good ward clears coming out from KiWiKiD. You can see Dyrus still pushing. He does not have his teleport up right now, so it's going to have to be an 8-second back if he wants to join the team here.
Yeah, not entirely sure why they decided to forfeit this inhibitor without fight. Maybe it was because
The Baron.
Dignitas does have a lot of poke,
Yeah.
and they have a Baron buff, so they figured they may as well get as much done in the other lane as possible. A little bit questionable of a decision. Dyrus trying to get as much done as he can. TSM hoping to get some type of out rotation right there, or a catch while Dignitas goes back to base.
Looking down some of the buys here. Trinity Force now in the hands of Turtle as he sells the Ghost Blade. Should get a bit more damage under his belt. Get those structures
Interesting
down.
choice at this juncture of the game.
Yeah.
Actually goes for a defensive item as well, knowing pretty much the only damage he's taking is from Kog'Maw ultimates, Ziggs ultimates, and
Right.
Mundo cleavers. So he needs that magic resist to help himself survive. He needs to get a little bit close in team fights as well. Look at this comeback.
Wow, that gold graph is ridiculous.
Slowly trending back towards Dig.
It's like, imagine if you told somebody, you're going to have 6,000 gold lead, but we're going to come back.
Yeah, and the gold lead at 20 minutes was 4.2 thousand, which means if this is a comeback, it would be the second largest comeback this entire split if we count the regular season.
Right.
Since it's the second playoff game, of course we're going to count the regular season.
Dignitas gathering control of their jungle. It's all theirs. They don't have to worry about too much. TSM doesn't even want to leave their side at this point. Both sides of the map, or I should say, Dignitas' side of the map for TSM is completely dark right now. And Dig has gotten those few forward wards in they used to take the last inhibitor. So everything they're putting down, they are getting a bit of a return on their investment, which has really been putting them back into this game. Oh, so much. 54 minutes on the clock as we start to approach an hour here in our first best of 5 of the weekend. Pretty damn good games.
Yeah. It's been a strange one this time, too. I feel like when Dignitas started to pull back that they had opportunities to actually win, and TSM has really played well to... It's strange to say because TSM had a great lead. They lost that, and then they were pretty much out of control of the game, but they've done some nice maneuvers to stay in it at this point. You can see Bjergsen's at 6 items. Even Amazing, honestly, is at 6 items because he kind of wants to keep the Sightstone for ward control. The only thing he'll be able to do is upgrade his Leandries.
Yeah.
Dyrus maxed out. Turtle close to maxed out. It's about as good as it gets as far as team power goes.
Ooh, that movement speed saving him. Crumbzz says, just keep running, please. Throws the Blood Boil on and they stay safe. WildTurtle's doing what he can to keep the lanes pushed in mid. Whoa, KiWiKiD going a little too hard. The flash and hook is a miss on that one. No death sentence to be had here, but this means the fight has started. It's like they don't stop at 54 minutes when somebody tries something. Everything is missing, but the initiation is still continuing. The Mega Inferno Bomb on the tail side of TSM, they're very hurt, and now they are turning and running for base whole. They cannot try to turn on a fight this one.
They just can't get an actual catch. As many times as they'll land a snowball, they're not getting the hooks to follow up, and they're not able to finish things off.
That was kind of crazy.
It is the weakness of their team composition, right? They don't have amazing initiation. In the mid game, they were able to find fights because Bjergsen was playing overconfident. Yeah. But that is stopped now, and he's just using Scatter the Weak and the stuns from Syndra to keep them at bay. And Dignitas doesn't seem to be able to find ideal fights.
Once those Bansies fails get surfacing, Bjergsen really has hardly any targets to hit unless the team can get their poke out, which they don't have much of. You're going to be throwing an entire tidal wave or something like a sapling and hope to get those bubbles. So Dignitas knows with those few seconds of attack is when they have to hit. They've done it more than once here. 15 to 14. Very, very close in kills. Both teams understanding these fight compositions. Now we approach mid inhibitor again for Dignitas here. 50 seconds on Baron and Dragon, if that's even going to be necessary after this fight for one of these teams.
Yeah, the team fights are so close right now. It's hard to believe that TSM could brute force this in any way, especially against Ziggs. I think they're just hoping for a crazy team fight to erupt and them being able to outplay for the win. That's pretty much what this game is going to come down to. No huge split pushing threats on either side. 2 threat teams from both of them. You know, it's the Ziggs, Kog'Maw, Syndra, and Lucian that are putting out the majority of the damage. 2 super tanks, utility junglers. Here we go.
That's what they wanted. They want to try to go for Amazing. He can repel out. They've gotten a little bit of that damage from Dignitas down, but they also took quite a bit as well. KiWiKiD's hurt. We're going to see Dyrus quite hurt, the tank that they are relying on to keep these fights flowing. 13 seconds onto Baron. Was that enough? TSM thinks so.
It's almost like it's gotten to this point now where because both teams are only running 2 main damage dealers and they're such super tanks, it's hard to kill each other.
Zion Spartan gets hit. Oh my gosh, these tanks about 1,500 damage spread across 5 members there from the Mega Inferno Bomb. Dyrus goes down, but it's a GA. They have nobody to focus now in these fights. What a 3-man stun from Bjergsen to pretty much cancel out, focusing back onto Dyrus. TSM is fighting this one very coordinated, and they're able to come out without losing anyone. Mana bars very low on both sides though.
Kog'Maw can only do so much damage with the Nunu right here, and it's just enough to break through Dyrus' GA, not enough to kill him again. Holy crap. That could have been dead. This might be Baron number 4.
That's an Elise back though.
Uh-huh.
Smite's not there.
And Maokai is back. as well. They're
Culling
trying
goes
to put
off
damage
immediately.
down.
KiWiKiD says yum yum.
Baron, you
very
can see
much.
the health in the bottom left corner, 7,500. They're pulling off.
So he could be healing up just a tad, back up to 10 grand. He's good to go. Baron stays alive, Talisman of Ascension. Yeah. All right, just wanted to try and get the ward in. Uh-oh. The slows are, whoa, the flash in. KiWiKiD gonna be locked up. Dyrus is completely waiting on any more crowd control. Very well played and peace of mind in the gank there on KiWiKiD, not to use too much. Give the kill to Turtle.
Oh man, what a catch. Once again. Do they...
I like it, they're not even going for Baron.
They're done with that game. They
Yes.
know they can't beat Dignitas'
Yes.
Baron game anymore, so they're going right for the open inhibitor.
Get him. Nah, he missed.
Turtle has so much damage right now as well.
The Triforce
that's
was a
why
great buy as well. for
Shiphtur
these
has to
characters.
stay so far back.
The Bloodthirster are keeping him locked down on the HP. You can see the shield he's got built up as well. They're going to be going for inhibitors now.
Huge
The
move.
second one. I cannot believe TSM. 3 Barons have gone in favor of Dignitas this game, but it almost has not mattered considering what TSM is doing right now. 1 more Baron stands on this map. 2 inhibitors are down. Dignitas losing that gold lead, or not gold lead, but that gold deficit is growing once again in favor of TSM.
We're breaking all the rules in these quarterfinals, it really feels like, because TSM gave up 3 Barons this game, and they now have a 2 inhibitor lead. They went late game against the Ziggs, Kog'Maw, Mundo comp, and they are winning in that as well because they have tanked up so well, and they were able to get the catches they required.
KiWiKid's up. Here he comes, zooming out of base.
They can only do this for so long, though. As great as Dignitas' Baron control has been, they need to keep the waves at bay. That's either a full-time Shiphtur or a full-time Imaqtpie to try and keep those down.
There's going to be a gigantic wave on that bottom side, Jat, so they're going to have to do something.
If they go for Baron right now, they can get it. If not, the super minions would kill their base.
Yeah, oh yeah.
They
That
do not
Nexus
have time
turret,
to
two
dilly-dally.
super minions take down a Nexus turret very fast.
Yeah.
And they're going to have that in the bottom lane right now.
One wave with a down inhibitor, if left unattended, will kill your Nexus.
Yeah.
players.
It's a scary thing. You're like, never mind, I got it. Nope, that super minion. 60 minutes on the clock, 30 kills overall. We've got half. We're reaching a good kill point. 92,000 to 88 here. As Dignitas is trying to keep 2 games in their favor, or make 2 games in their favor. It'd be 1-1 with TSM grabbing this one. We go to game 3. A lot of people considered that TSM would come through this very strong as they came up at the kind of end of the season, and Dignitas was really falling into their slump. Both seemed to have righted the ship if it was going down in either direction, and definitely showing it here today.
Remarkable length in these games as well, but it's not because they've been slow games.
Right.
There is a lot of play and counterplay right here. And this would be rather amazing if Dignitas can steal this here. They do have their waves at base, so they can poke at this for quite some time before they have to deal with the waves again. I'd say they have about 45 seconds to get something done.
They love Dyrus. Oh, KiWiKiD again is the one that's caught. Are they going to be able to focus him? Amazing walks right into the fight, trying to get to the back line. Culling from the outside pretty much goes clear through the entire team of Dignitas.
All TSM has to do is stall this one and
Yes.
keep Dignitas away from their base, and eventually they'd have to fall away. But Dyrus is very low. Great knockback.
Super good bubble and knockback from Lustboy and Bjergsen to control that fight. Turtle getting a little ham on this one, slowed by the Void Ooze, and he's going to be kept out of the re-engage.
That wave of minions in
Minion
the bottom
wave
lane.
is just plowing through right now. That's a double wave that's entering the bottom side of the base. Dignitas is going to have to answer.
They respect the minions.
Yep.
For sure right here. It's on Spartan. I think we'll make it back just in time. But what does TSM do? Oh my god! Ooh. Almost a great catch by WildTurtle.
Look at
They
Turtle.
are
What
trying
are
to
you
close
doing?
in. He's being wild, that's
He
for
is
sure.
definitely being wild. The shell is on. Turtle's the only one in the base by himself right now. And he doesn't even have a lantern or anything to get out. He's all right, though. He makes his way out safely with the help of Nami being there. A little bit of speed up in HP. KiWiKiD again, trying to fly through and get a hook in. Just
This
runs
is
right to
such
danger.
a critical juncture right here.
Oh my
Look,
gosh.
if they lose
Even
3
with
inhibitors, this
somebody.
problem only gets worse. It seems like TSM has retained control of this one.
That turret gone down. Has gone down. Dyrus getting hit up here. They're trying to do what they can. This could be the last
Disengage
fight.
again. They can't fight them. This is why TSM is winning this one. Manipulating the mini waves just right.
Beautiful job. A second turret goes down, and they didn't even have to touch them. This is how you play off the ball. Team Solo Mid gets hit by a very big ultimate. The Absolute Zero shreds the HP bars of Bjergsen and Lustboy. WildTurtle on the outside trying to help as they lose one. Guardian Angel actually comes back up for TSM on that. WildTurtle's gonna finally go down. Dig now recuperating. They put on the Iron Lung and they try to keep themselves alive. Don't try for it. Woo! Could have been a bad situation as well if Dyrus got a good heal on that from his passive, just walked out.
I can't believe this. All 3 inhibitors are alive for Dignitas right now. They lost both Nexus turrets, but they successfully defended their 3rd inhibitor. Meaning they have no minion wave threat for contesting the next Baron. They are completely still alive in this game. They were like an inch away from losing it there.
Very close. They weren't even able to do anything while being there for the Nexus turrets.
Yeah, the inhibitors respawn just at the right moment, actually, to make the Nexus untargetable as well. While this fight is happening, you can see the bottom inhibitor. I think it comes back at some point.
Right now.
Right there. So those minions actually have nowhere to hit that are in their base, meaning this fight is completely risk-free for Dignitas to engage on at this point.
Oh, man. This looks like a pretty big Dignitas team.
TSM, well, they don't even have WildTurtle up. Otherwise, I'd say they should rush down mid lane, which they may do anyway, but then they lose the fight.
7 Barons, 7.
Look at this.
Oh my gosh.
They know what's happening.
It's very, very
Big
low.
board inside.
3,220.
It's for them.
500 HP on Baron. Another one for Crumbzz. Baron number
That's an inhibitor, though.
4 of this
Can
game.
they
7th
disrupt him long
series.
enough? No, Shiphtur's already back in base.
Shifters might be able, but they have a Nexus to hit after this inhibitor. They don't have turrets to go through. It's going to be 2 back as well. Amazing and Bjergsen should not be able to go through QtPie and Shiphtur. There's a few hits there. That's the flash. Holy crap, that was some damage and a half with a bag of chips on the side. Amazing's the next one. That's a 69 plus timer for Bjergsen right now in the death chamber. They're now going on. Crumbzz throws down the Randuins. He may be able to keep it locked down. Lustboy gives them a KOs and they try to get out.
Yeah, it's time to turn on WildTurtle vision, though, because he is waiting for Dignitas to overcommit, and he would try and solo the Nexus by himself. He's over the wall.
He's making his way in. Oh my gosh, he's gonna say Zion Spartan. You just did this to my team, now it's my turn.
Guess who's back trying to stop him?
Shots.
It's gonna be Zion. Can he stop
Zion
him?
comes in, he knows what's going on.
Why kill him? Why kill him?
Oh my god, they kill him. The Nexus is saved. 65 minutes and the game continues. Dyrus tries to get himself in. He's got tiny arms though and he can't get to the Nexus in time. Saplins won't be able to do it. He misses and Dignitas saves the day with the entire team.
Why in the world would WildTurtle use culling when it's a hit away from winning the game on the Nexus? The spell doesn't hit the Nexus. Now Dignitas has 4 dead, and they survive another day.
This is ridiculous. Dignitas just taking the gold lead at 100,000 gold now. 19 kills to 16. We're going to be breaching 70 minutes here coming up on this game, and Dignitas on life support keeps themselves in this game with about 2,000 health left. Not even on the Nexus. Now they push in 40 seconds.
Oh god, no.
Oh,
there's another one.
No way.
A new challenger approaches. Amazing.
Turn on the frenzy. Here we go.
The Nexus is still pretty low. It does heal. That's it.
Nobody's got it.
No one's got it.
Ladies and gentlemen, game number 3, 1-1. TSM wins game number 2.
There is honestly nothing I can say after this game.
Well, we have more games. Yeah, I'm with you.
66 minutes in.
Holy moly.
16 kills to 19, 100,000 gold pretty much on both sides. And we're all tied up. Now it turns into a best of 3 from here on out.
Oh, so good. So good. I cannot believe this.
2 games in a row.
Happened.
We've had that. Coming down to just a person running at the Nexus. That's what this has come down to.
Couldn't have asked for more.
No, you
That
couldn't.
is absolutely amazing to get the same result for each finish by a different person.
Amazing did make it in at the last second there. It was a sneaky little play. You could tell Dignitas, because they had a lot of kills, that they were going to try some type of counterattack, but they knew the Nexus was really low, and while it does regenerate, it regenerates very slowly.
I don't even know what to say about these games.
WildTurtle could have saved us a few minutes and not used the culling. I think that's one thing we can say.
That was pretty fantastic.
It doesn't cost him the game, though, so no real harm done.
All right, but we got a question, though. With Dig being able to come back, they get every Baron in the game. You'd think there would be some more moves made, having that much power 4 or 5 times throughout the game. TSM as well on their side get a different composition out of Dig and fare the same game. So both teams are kind of like playing to the max, but also faltering at the times when it hurts them the most.
I mean, the pressure cooker that this series has become, I can't really blame them with how close these games are.
Right.
I mean, keep in mind here, this is TSM. They've been to every single World Championship, and if they lose this series here to Dignitas, it's the first time they don't go.
That's true.
There's a lot on the line here. Keep in mind, this is the first quarterfinal in the North American playoffs. We still have plenty of more series to play to eventually decide the North American champion and the 3 teams that end up going to Worlds. We're going to be here a while if we have a lot of games like this.
A very long while, and I'm loving the homework that the teams have done coming in here. The early game pink ward finding has been on point for both teams. They're really shutting each other's vision down. And then to control the Dragons, they've kind of been given up early by Dignitas, which is interesting. But we've said their red side control of Baron, how they've been working things.
Really impressive.
Maybe really what they do need, just not to falter in the mid part of the game.
And see how they can recover after yet another roller coaster game.
That's right. TSM coming up very big on that one, and they could be taking it themselves. For now, we're going to send it over to the analyst desk for a breakdown on TSM's wild ride.
Thanks, Riv. I'm here with Prawley and Kobe again after another crazy game. Now, Kobe, it's going to be a marathon. Looks like you're ready for
This one is ridiculous. We've been yelling and sweating for the last like 20 minutes.
Yep.
North American LCS, we know drama.
Yeah, exactly. The new
2
tagline.
Nexus kills by a single player. Opposite teams. This is the best start to a series. Well, the most exciting.
Yeah, and it wasn't just one guy went to go get the Nexus. It was literally,
Everybody tried.
it was like, all right, buddy, your turn. All right, your turn now. Man, that was pretty stressful.
I kind of wish that the viewers had an opportunity to see us back here, like literally jumping up and down, yelling at our monitors. That was a crazy game. But probably as a veteran of games that go for a very long time, talk to me about the fact that this is happening in a best of 5. Where are their mental states going to be, endurance-wise? What comes into play here?
I feel like after that, TSM's going to be super hyphy for next game. I mean, ending a game like that, even when we would win games where we're just like getting stomped or something like that, and then we get some Nexus rush win right afterwards, that's such a satisfying win. Because that entire game, you're just biting your nails and like stressing out and having to go to the bathroom. Like so many factors come in. So right when they finish that with Elise, they're all high-fiving, like, I did 20% of it, I did 50% of it.
Turtle's like, I did 95% of it, and I got a little excited with my culling there.
Yeah, well, it was a team game, so he lowered it for Elise to get the spotlight.
Team game.
I respect that.
But it definitely wasn't an easy win for TSM. They got off to a great early start, but things kind of started to fall apart in the mid-game. Kobe, you want to talk to me a little bit about that?
Okay, so the wars over the vision in this game were really, really intense, and especially around Baron. Dignitas keep getting these Barons when they're already behind to get back in these games. And they're the team that has the Kog'Maw. They're the ones that are waiting for the late game, for TSM to have to run at them. And when they get these small windows, they did a good job of actually getting back into this game. Because remember how this started? All away at the very beginning of this game, TSM got a huge lead. Big mistake by Zion, teleports into the turret, gets killed by Lustboy with a great tower dive, and TSM take a huge gold lead. Within like 10 minutes or something, they got 5 objectives.
Yeah, I think Dig is really, really good at objectives, especially Baron. And I think part of it is because of Kiwi. Kiwi has, he's not scared to die at all. You see it, he's flash playing on cooldown. He's ready to take one for the team. And I don't think TSM's practices against supports that do that are just, I'm going to get you kind of thing. And so a lot of their Barons come up off of successful Kiwi's flash plays with Thresh. So it's almost like if TSM recognizes this and starts playing more respectful of Thresh, they might be able to control Baron a bit. But if they keep walking up to Thresh and not thinking Kiwi's going to flash for him, they're just going to get caught again.
That being said, though, they threw a lot of attention onto the Thresh. We saw ults being blown just to take him down. I think at one point, Kiwi was 7 of Dignitas' 14 deaths. But that actually works out in Dig's favor. So is that an adjustment that TSM needs to make in terms of reprioritizing their targets?
So the thing is, when they get a pick, they have to kill their person that they pick so that they can have this advantage. But yes, obviously the highest priority target is the Kog'Maw, and they want to get him if they can. The thing that really stood out to me is since there are so many of these sort of super tanky champions on this Dig team that aren't doing a whole lot. They're all supportive in their just giant front line with what, 5,447 health Nunu and a 4,700 plus health Mundo. There was no Bork on Turtle for this whole game.
Yep. There was a lot of build a Bork yelling back here.
Instead of, and he already had Banshees too, so like a little shield from Bloodthirster. Need something to cut through the front line, or else you get these crazy games that are like this, where they're just trying to take so long to kill the front line, and they never do get back to the
be fair, though, Bork wouldn't have done as much damage to the Nexus.
True.
That's true. I didn't actually think of that. But the big thing was when they were killing Kiwi, the 3 frontliners were Mondo, Nunu, Thresh, right? And focusing Nunu or Mundo, neither of them have hard CC. So by killing Thresh, it basically eliminated all the CC on Dig's side. So once Thresh was dead, they basically could walk through the fight and get to their backline. So the backline, as soon as Thresh died, would have to leave, and now the tanks are just alone, slightly slowing people. So although like focusing the support is kind of not the best, against Dig, I felt like that was kind of the easiest way to get to their backline, because Syndra can do a lot of damage with just QWE.
Exactly. I really like that because we saw it so many times. Even when Dig did have the upper hand and they were getting ahead, they had no means to force the fight. So they would just get run around by TSM. TSM could disengage for days. They would just throw out Syndra and Nami spells backwards, and they could continue to disengage. Even though Dignitas had the upper hand, they couldn't force the fight. And QTPie would run out of mana trying to do as much damage as it could trying to chase.
Let's pick apart the Dig comp a little bit, because we didn't see too much change in champion select. The Nasus was not target banned. The Mao was first picked again by TSM. So probably why didn't they just stick with what worked the first time?
I'm not really sure. I think it might have been nerves, and it might have been a confidence issue. I think maybe they're, in the back room talking, what if TSM figured out how to beat us? Like, what if TSM did this? We couldn't run Nasus again. So they kind of, I think, got scared of doing Nasus again just because it does have weaknesses, and TSM just didn't exploit it the first game, but they could have learned and exploited it the next game.
All right, well, let's jump into the replay just because it was exciting. We're going to take a look at WildTurtle's attempt at backdooring the Nexus. Kobe, you were rather excited during this, so I'm going to let you walk us back through
Yeah,
it.
let's roll this. What happens here? Dash is over. So he's got his Trinity Force proc ready when he heads up there. And he's going to see the teleport behind him. He knows he's got a little bit of time to work with. What he's doing is weaving in his spells for not only the Trinity Force proc, but also the double shot. There, he leaves the going on for a little bit longer. He might have been able to get off that other shot just a bit quicker if he did the second activation of the R. Not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure he might have been.
I think it's either, if he hits RR quickly and tries to get the proc off, that could be okay, or if he focuses on dodging Thresh Hook. Because if he was able to get around Thresh Hook, save his dash for it, or just focus it, he was actually full health, and Cog had just gotten to base. So if he ran towards Mundo and just dodged the Thresh Hook, he probably could have ended it just with autos, but I understand hitting that Nexus, I doubt you can be, all right, I need to go next to Mundo and ignore that Thresh. You're just like, Nexus, kill it. So.
All right, well, given the outcome of that game, now we're in 1-1. It basically turns into a best of 3. So probably, what are we looking at now for the teams to do? What are they talking about in their game rooms right now?
I think Dig needs to go back to 4-1 kind of style, where Zion's on his own and can deal with Dyrus. I think that really suited them really well, and they only did it one time, so maybe if they pull out another champion other than Nasus that does the same thing, it'll be really strong. And for TSM, I think they should probably look for more engaged somewhere in their team comps. But other than that, they're doing really well as a team. Whenever they're S5, they make big plays. They do something like when they're pretty much grouped at Dragon side and Dyrus got caught, they all decided to push mid and got a mid inhib off of Dyrus getting caught. So they work really well as long as all 5 are on the same page. So I think that's what goal they should be going towards.
Yeah, I do think that the onus is now on Dignitas to make the changes because, as you said, it's a huge momentum swing for TSM. They're going to be amped up after that last game. And Dignitas, they thrive. They've shown the best performance when they've been able to take TSM out of standard play. They don't want to have standard lanes and they don't want to have standard team fights around Dragon because that's where they've been taken out. But if you go to split pushing strategies or if you go to lane swaps early on, then they've been able to gain advantages.
All right, well, we'll see what kind of adjustments they make. But for now, we're going to take a brief break while the teams load in for Game 3 between Team Solo Mid and Dignitas. Stay with us for more fireworks when our playoff action returns after this.
Let's get it started. All right, yeah, let's go.
Dyrus flashing.
Whoa, Dyrus onto Crumbzz. They take him out immediately. That's the crowd control to stop him from getting to the back line.
Dyrus.
Just don't let him auto. Lucian. I got a snowball in my mistake. Maokai. Amazing. Okay, Baron.
They go back. PewDiePie gets a few shots. Oh my gosh, the keel and the Mikhail's Crucible. It's not enough. I think I can take the top turret, and TSM says no, you cannot. That's going to be a kill going on to Crumbzz. He knows what's going on. The White Cullen. Oh my God.
That's it.
Nobody's got it.
No one's got it.
Ladies and gentlemen, game number 3.